Hey there, welcome to another episode of The Night Sky this week. So happy that you could join me. I'm Andrew Fazekas, the Night Sky guy, here every week, every Monday, sharing some of my top choices of the things that you can see in the night sky. Wherever you are around the world, we share the same sky, and there's a lot of really cool things every week. Jam-packed every week. And so I'm so happy that you can join me this week. We're going to be talking about all kinds of different things every week. And I've got the chat room open, looking at all of you guys. I see Mary from Greece. Nice of you to join us from Athens. I'm hoping you have some really good sky views. Have you seen any meteors? Have you been able to see any of the planets? We talk about all kinds of things, the constellation stars and stuff. It's really very cool. Teresa says hello from Minnesota. She says she just saw a bright yellow object in the sky. Not sure what it was. Heard rumors it's called the sun, but I'm not sure. I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. In Montreal, Canada, we've had a long run of cloudy skies and very frosty temperatures. We've been socked in with a lot of snow as well. So if there's any kind of sky watching, it's peeking between the clouds. So for some of us, I think. We've got folks from Hungary, and Australia, Italy joining in. Wonderful from Mexico as well, Tunisia. Welcome to all of you. It's fascinating that, to be able to bring all of us together like this. It's a great thing to do sky watching. And I'm wondering, did you guys get to do any sky watching this past weekend? Or stayed up with some of the space news? I've been putting out a lot of different things on my timeline on Facebook, if you've been watching, or Instagram, doing a lot of posts. If you haven't followed me yet, why don't you? That way you'll get notified on your timeline what I'm up to in terms of putting out sky watching announcements, space news, lots of things happening. There was an actual meeting, a professional astronomical meeting this past week where there was a release of a lot of neat news as well. NASA has also been putting out news about their missions that they're doing, current missions and future missions. Always a lot of things. And this is the place that you want to stick to, my channel, the Night Sky Guy channel, because I keep putting out all kinds of different things, keeping you in the know of sky watchings. You don't need to search for things. I'll bring it right to you, right to your desktop or mobile device, and keep it simple too. Things that are fairly easy to see, and some things that maybe if you have a telescope or binoculars you want to use. So why don't we dive in and see what is in store this week? So, and by the way, you see that there is a ticker underneath here. This ticker gives you some extra information. Make sure that if you've missed some of the basic information I'm sharing with you, there's some of that located in the ticker below, added little bonus tips and information. So just keep watching that as well. So here we are. We've got the sky set up for Monday, January 18th, right after local sunset. And for those of us in the northern hemisphere, this is of course how you're seeing it. If you're in the southern hemisphere, it's kind of reversed from here. So the moon, you can see, is really beautiful crescent moon in the sky. It's a waxing crescent moon, meaning that it is growing in phase. We're heading towards a full moon in over a week's time. And we've got pinning down the low southwest skies Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn. Well, Jupiter and Saturn are now going to be very difficult to see. I'll have to say that. It's quite a challenge because they're being hidden by the glare of the sunset. And you'd need to find a spot that is got a really clear view toward the low southwestern horizon, maybe with a pair of binoculars, and soon after, when the sun sets in your location, start scanning that sky, and you might be able to pick off Jupiter. Particularly is the brighter of the two. It is quite a challenge, I must say. And then there is Mercury, which is higher up and is much easier to see. It's kind of just on the edge of the glare of the sunset. So about 20 minutes to a half hour after your local sunset, look for a little Mercury. If I set this to a few minutes, like 15 minutes after, you can see as the sun sets and dusk settles in, where it's a little bit darker, Mercury is clearly visible right there, down as close to the southwestern horizon. Again, about a half hour, 20 minutes to a half hour after your local sun. Try that out. Little Mercury, the innermost planet, should be on your bucket list. It's one of the 5 classical naked eye planets that you can see. And this is something worth watching for. And if we look at where the moon is, this is interesting. We'll set it off to a little bit darker so we get to see some of the constellations, these star patterns, right? These mythological figures. And lo and behold, the moon is kind of officially in the constellation there. You can see of Cetus, the monster, the whale monster in the sky. That is traditionally a constellation that is visible from both southern and northern hemispheres, and the moon is right there, wedged in what looks like between Cetus and Pisces, the fish constellation. That's where the two are. Now, if we scan up a little bit higher, you'll see also Uranus and Mars to the upper left of the moon. Again, this is early evening. Once darkness falls where you are, you'll see that orange bright star, which is, of course, Mercury. Uranus next to it. We'll come back to that in a little while, talk more about it, but the moon will be beautifully lighting up the southwestern sky on Monday, January 18th. Now, if we move over to Tuesday, and we're going to just scoot over to Tuesday the 19th, you'll see that the moon is getting closer to Uranus and Mars. Of course, Uranus is going to be barely visible with the naked eye from a dark site. What will grab your attention, even if you're in the city, will be the planet Mars. Definitely, that is the one that you'll be able to see clearly. That's for sure. So you'll have that beautiful, beautiful setting of these two stars. And something else that is worth looking for, since you're watching the moon and looking at Mars, is another constellation we've talked about before. This is a great time to see it, is Andromeda, which is next to this giant square pattern of stars. And this giant square pattern of stars represents the chest of Pegasus, the flying horse. So what I want you to take a look for is what we call a double star. And this is kind of a neat little challenge here. If you look at the great square of Pegasus as your starting point, so if you're new to astronomy and sky watching, this is a really big square, probably on its side if you're looking towards the west after nightfall. And then if you kind of look at the top point of this star, one of the points of the square, the giant square, then you're going to look right above it and you'll see this V shape of pattern of stars that keep widening. They're kind of medium bright stars to the naked eye, just visible from under city lights. If you're in a typical suburb of a large city, you should be able to make them out. If you just allow your eyes to adapt to darkness, turn off your porch lights, no direct light to your vision, you should be able to see these stars. There I have my pointer right now. We're near the head of Andromeda. You can see she's upside down, the Princess Andromeda, the mythological figure. Then there's going to be two more stars, a little bit wider. Just to the right of that, one on the right-hand star over here, Mu Andromeda, is the Andromeda Galaxy. We've talked about this before. It's a must-see. This is on the journey to the double star where I want to point you, but I said we're passing by Andromeda Galaxy. I just want to make sure that that's something with binoculars you'll easily be able to see. With a dark enough sky, it'll look like a little fuzzy patch to a little tiny cloud to the naked eye. It's the farthest object the human eye can see. It's at 2.6 million light years away, and the Andromeda Galaxy is just a giant spiral galaxy. This is a photograph, a long exposure photograph through a backyard telescope, and it's just this beautiful spiral galaxy that is bigger than our Milky Way galaxy, contains perhaps up to 1 trillion stars that are in a pinwheel formation, and we're seeing that pinwheel spiral, flattened spiral, almost edge on, kind of a little at a bit of an angle. And you can see it has a satellite just poking above the ticker. Here is a little satellite galaxy, and most of the bright stars that you see in this picture are in the foreground. They're actually part of our own Milky Way. They just happen to be in the way from our view of the Milky Way. So here we are. We're back to our star chart, and that is where you can see where the Andromeda Galaxy is right there. But then I wanted you to see that these two stars here, back to these two stars. Remember, we started off at Alpheretz, which is that corner star to the Great Square of Pegasus. So we move on. There's two brighter stars, and then there's two wider stars out here. One is called Almerac, and it's a kind of a golden yellow star. And there's one much fainter to the right. So it's this V, this narrow little squished V formation of stars, pattern of stars that I want you to be looking for. And it's the one on the left, this star called Almach, which is kind of really interesting. It's actually a double star. If I zoom in on it with some magnification, you'll see it. I know you see all those other stars named here, but under a higher magnification through a telescope, a small backyard telescope, it's actually a double star. And it's a beautiful double star because here's a photograph showing you of the brighter of the two, which is Almach, and it has this beautiful golden yellow color. And then you can see the one on the left there is its companion, the double star companion, and that it has this bluish kind of green tint to it. It's a really neat star system, and it's also officially called the Gamma Andromedae, and it's 390 light years away. It's one of the best double stars in the sky, and it's really a neat star system. It's beautiful in a small telescope. They look like a pair, very close to each other. One's, like I said, golden yellow. The other one's blue. It's really something really quite beautiful to see. And again, this is with a small backyard telescope. It's a great little challenge. I will post a sky chart about this, pointing you exactly where I'm showing you in this video of where to look. This is on Tuesday, January 19th. Give it a try. It's a lot of fun, and it'll be there even after the 19th. Anytime this week, you can give it a try as well. But the moon will be nearby, so it kind of makes it kind of easy for you to follow this kind of skipping across the sky hopping from the moon to this giant square, and then down to seeing this beautiful double star. It's a lot of fun. You can give that a try. So why don't we move to Wednesday, January 20th? So we're going to skip to January 20th, and you'll see the moon has hopped right underneath Uranus and Mars. Uranus and Mars are going to be very close. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. But what I want you to look at the same time is look at the moon. Just absolutely beautiful. It is a quarter moon. Check that out. Look at that real beautiful quarter moon. We officially on quarter moon on January 20th. So that means that quarter moon is a half of the moon is lit up, or about a quarter of the entire ball of the moon is lit up. So it's a half-lit disk for a sky watcher. And this is a really great time to look for things on the moon. We can see the in this case, I'm trying to show you here the Sea of Serenity. Sea of Serenity is a large lava plain. It's visible even to the naked eye as a dark patch, but with binoculars, fantastic view. This is a good typical, what I have here for you is a good typical view of what it looks like with pair of binoculars. The Sea of Tranquility, we've all heard about that. It's made famous, of course, by Apollo 11 landing on the edge of the Sea of Tranquility. Well, this is the Sea of Tranquility. Again, this is an ancient lava plain, and it's quite smooth. There's a lack of craters or holes, right? On when you look at it, that's why it's so smooth. It's a younger, fresher surface of the moon at this location and these seas. So that's something. These are easy to find things with binoculars. And the Sea of Crisis as well is visible as this dark little patch. This might be actually quite easy to see with even the naked eye as that little patch. Try that out at a distance, looking up at the sky. Can you see those lava plains, those seas of the moon? They're very easy to see, and I'll put a little post on that for you as well. So that's some interesting things you can see. There are big craters, of course, that are visible through perhaps a backyard telescope and binoculars. I'm pointing some of them out here for you. You can see, I'm looking for one, Aristoteles. The Aristoteles crater is really beautiful to see. When it's a quarter moon, it's near what we call the terminator of the moon. This is the sort of the knife edge between light and day, the day side and nighttime of the moon. And so just near what we call that terminator, that line that divides day and night on the moon, is a great location to span and just cruise around this area to see a lot of features. You can see it's just chock full of craters, lots of really interesting, and there's mountain ranges to see as well. Just a lot of different, the Apennine Mountains are visible here. Just a lot of amazing views around what we call the terminator. And the quarter moon offers a great time to do that. It's a very comfortable time to view the moon. You can see it in the early evening skies. Again, this is, we're on Wednesday, January 20th. And of course, after looking at the moon, check this out. Mars and Uranus. These two planets are in conjunction on Wednesday and Thursday as well, but they're really tightest on Wednesday night, January 20th. Fantastic time for you to see if you can hunt down the seventh planet from the sun, Uranus. It's an ice giant. It's a green giant, I like to call it. It's a planet 90 Earths could easily fit inside of this planet. It's made of very cold gases and has this very distinctive green color. And the two planets are going to be at their closest. So through a binocular, this is about the view that you'll get. Let me just get some of these stars off the map there so it's not as confusing. There, that's kind of the view that you would see through a pair of binoculars. So pointed at that orange star just above left of the moon, and it's the only bright orange star that you'll see. And just tucked away near it, in the same field of view, will be a green-colored star through binoculars. And if you look at it through a small telescope, the view, we probably won't be able to get both of them in the same field of view, but scan near Mars for that green disk. It looked like a small disk of light. Really impressive. Again, this is the seventh planet from the sun. It's shining at about 5.8 magnitude, which means that it's barely visible through through just the naked eye, actually, just barely visible. With binoculars, it's a cinch. With a telescope, really easy to see as a small green disk. But the challenge is for the naked eye. I put this challenge out to you. I mean, it really depends on how much light pollution is in your location. If you're located in the countryside, very dark skies, you should be able to see Uranus if you have good eyesight. If your eyesight is good enough, you should be able to see that barely under dark skies. But if you're like most people, like I am, stuck in suburbia, or next to a large city, large light pollution dome, it's quite a challenge. But with binoculars, You can pick this off. I do it regularly. And Mars will be helping you as a guidepost. This is why I'm kind of showing you this, because being able to see Mars and Uranus together, it's really great, because Uranus tends to be difficult. It's just because it's just visible to the naked eye. It's usually just barely visible or invisible completely. Well, it's hard, but with the moon nearby, Mars is there, Uranus is easier to see now on Wednesday, January 20th. Try that out. It's a great observing challenge, something you should strive for. It's a lot of fun with having the moon nearby. It's something that's well within your grasp, I'd say, being able to showcase that. So give it a whirl. That's what I say. Give this a good try. So let's move on. If I can move this out to Thursday. So here we move on to Thursday. And you'll see where the moon is. The moon will now have moved a little bit off from Uranus and Neptune on Thursday. It's a little bit more than a quarter moon. Again, this is in the southern sky. Use the moon. The moon is very easy to find. We can all find the moon. And if you can just zero on the moon, look to the right of the moon. So the moon will be a little bit farther away on Thursday. And I think it might make it easier if you're using the naked eye to track down Uranus, the seventh planet there, that little green ice giant next to Mars. Thursday is another great opportunity with the moon a little bit farther away. I think you should try to give that a whirl. Give that a whirl. So here we are. We're going to move this down a little bit over. Let's see if I can move this sky a little bit so it's easier for us to see. And then we move on to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Again, the moon guiding us. Very interesting to see, because the moon will be guiding us on, let's see, Friday. Here we go, Friday. And look where the moon is. I'm going to zoom in, turn on the stars, make sure the stars are all there, and look where the moon is. This is going to be really great for Friday, Saturday, Sunday this week. The moon will be wedged in my favorite constellation, Taurus. And I know some of you may have had problems finding some things when it comes to deep sky observing. But really, the moon can act as a wonderful guidepost if we're going to be looking for brighter deep sky objects. Not the faint stuff like the galaxies and nebula necessarily. Those are harder, but star clusters, a cinch. So check this out. It's going to be a beautiful sight. If you want to take pictures, this would be great as well, is being able to see the moon wedged in between, my favorite is the Pleiades and the Hyades star cluster. So if we move this down a little bit, there you go. You'll see the moon with the Pleiades star cluster and Hyades star cluster. Let me just move and see some of these objects a little bit less, name density a little bit less as well. Here we go. So if we just take off some of that, you'll see it's just beautiful. I mean, this is going to be an absolutely gorgeous sight, seeing the moon. Now, like I said, this is going to be in Taurus, and just follow the moon. This is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now I'm going to move to Saturday. Look where the moon is now flipped. From Friday to Saturday, now the moon is literally sitting on top of the Hyades star cluster, which is one of the closest open star clusters to the Earth, at about 170 light years away, approximately. We're not quite sure exactly this, is somewhere between 150 and 175 light years away is where we think it lies. So it's one of the closest star clusters to our sun, our solar system. And then just above the moon is this beautiful deep sky cluster, of course, is my favorite, is the Pleiades. Right there, you can see it marked right there, the Pleiades star cluster. And the Pleiades star cluster is, again, one of those amazing clusters because it looks like a miniature little dipper, or it looks like a little cloud to the naked eye if you don't have very good vision. But if you really look at it very closely, it does look like a miniature Big Dipper. Something that is a lot of fun to kind of notice. Let me see if I can bring that up in a photograph. There it is. That's what it looks like. If we zoom out, you can see this is a picture taken by an amateur backyard astronomer through a telescope. But this is sort of what you would see through a small telescope as well. Look at that. You see that the stars in these are members of an actual cluster of a group of stars that were born together. There's actually dozens of these stars, but there's about 7 of them that are bright enough to see with the naked eye. You could just barely make them out with the naked eye individually, but they look bright enough to see even in suburban skies. So I'm really encouraging you to try to use just your naked eye to see this sight. It doesn't look like this, of course, to the naked eye, but with binoculars and telescopes, you'll see this. The placement of these stars as you see them in this photograph. And you see there's like a cloud around each of those bright stars. That's what we call nebulosity. That's the leftover gas and dust from the birth of these stars about 100 million years ago. Really, really incredible to think about that these stars are 100 million years old, and that's not much considering that our own sun is 5 billion years old. So all of that action happening in the skies after darkness falls in the evening, local time, wherever you are. Look for the moon to guide you to different things this week. It's a lot of fun. I highly encourage it. Every week, there's always something happening, and many times the moon acts as a wonderful guidepost. So I love it that we'll have the moon for all of us, and it'll allow us to see things next to us. It's a jumping off point. I know it's bright, and many amateur astronomers they poo-poo the idea of the moon, but it's a great way to start learning about the night sky. If you're new to learning the night sky, it's the place to start kind of jumping off using the moon from night to night. So I'll be posting sky charts all week long to all of these things. Stay tuned. Every day I'll post what you can see in the evening sky. Many of these things, of course, are visible throughout the week. So if you get clouded out, don't worry. Some of these objects are still there. It's just that the moon hops from one night to the next and guides us from day to day. Thank you, all of you joining. I see everyone from Sylvia from Lubbock, Texas is joining us. Pleiades. Gunilla says, love to watch the Pleiades. Definitely. And yes, the moon is awesome. If you haven't looked at the moon through binoculars and telescopes, what are you waiting for? It is one of the most impressive sights. And like I said, during the quarter moon on Wednesday, just beautiful. You can see the Apennine Mountains. You can see giant craters. You see the beautiful seas, Sea of Tranquility right there. So famous. You can show that off to your kids, perhaps, who haven't seen it, maybe personally. Something you can connect to the heavens from your backyard, from your bedroom window, whatever your situation. We all share the same sky. So that's it for this week. Please, if you like this video and you like doing sky watching, please hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to my channel, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube or Twitch. Every week on Monday, I'm here to share the night sky. I hope you're staying safe and healthy, as always, and I hope to see all of you next week on Monday. Stay safe, and until next time, clear skies. Bye-bye.